keep shopping, keep spending. That's the true meaning of Christmas. Jingle Bell Heist is a Netflix original directed by Michael Figonari, who did To All the Boys, Always and Forever, and he worked on Dr. Sleep and The Fall of the House of Usher. Wait, that's the Lil Jon version, but nevertheless, check out his IMDb page for the full list of his work. This was written by Abby McDonald and Amy Reed, and features the very, very attractive Olivia Holt, who was recently in Hard Eyes as Sophia, who is an American in London with her British mother. They moved over to the States for reasons that will become clear a little bit later in this review. And now they're back in Britain because of the healthcare and because her mother is, or at least was, a Britain citizen or a UK citizen or whatever label they want to stamp on that passport when you come through customs, much like in Lurker. Check out Lurker, by the way. Boy, that was a disturbing movie. Nobody lurking around in this. No, just a bunch of cliches lurking around the corner saying we're going to poke our heads out. Yes, yes. No, I don't know what I'm necessarily on about. Anyway, Sophia works at a high-end London department store. Very, very, very lavish place. And she is trying to make sure that her mother gets healthy because her mother is very, very sick. So, along with a man named Nick, played by Connor Swindells, they basically decide to hatch a plan as complete strangers that end up falling in love to steal money from a man named Maxwell. It is not a very good business owner, shall we say. That's really about it. We then go to 2 weeks earlier after seeing a little bit of how this heist is going to go, and maybe we think it's going to go absolutely tits up. But before that, 2 weeks earlier, we see how everybody meets, and yeah, it's another Netflix rom-com, I guess, with some admittedly nice shots, and that makes sense because cinematography is something that Michael has done in the past, such as for Dr. Sleep and The Fall of the House of Usher. And when you actually have somebody that understands cinematography, you're going to get some good shots. And this movie is well shot. There's actually some nice tracking shots that, follow Olivia through the department store. Oh, I see. It's okay when a filmmaker follows a dirty blonde through a department store, but if I do it, then I am taken to court. Always make sure that you have a fall guy, by the way. And that's really about it. We get some, spy, thievery, cliches, and some generic, backstories for both of these particular characters. There's not really much to it. There really isn't. This movie isn't so much bad, it's just boring. And while Olivia and Connor are likable enough leads, and we do have Lucy Punch as well, playing Cynthia. She's a good actress. And you have Peter Serafinowicz, I think is how you say it, who plays Maxwell. I did like the character Brianna, Poppy Drayton, my word. But yeah, there really isn't a whole lot to sink your teeth into when it comes to this movie. I would say Champagne Problems was a better use of the Netflix Christmas model. This is just kind of there. It's better than A Merry Little Xmas, but then again, many things are. So, it's on Netflix if you want to check it out. Gonna get into spoilers. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. Yes, also people like the hat, so I decided to wear the hat. And it turns out that Sophia is an expert thief because her grandfather used to be a magician. At least, I assume used to be. He could still be alive and be 200 years old, for all I fucking know. But just picking people's pockets, robbing from the rich, giving to the poor. She steals a guy's wallet that's a shopkeeper and gives some, people playing the violin for money on the street, the contents of his wallet. Gives a coffee card to one of her security guys and basically is tired of Maxwell ripping people off. We find out why a little bit later, even though it's pretty fucking obvious where this film's going. And I don't mind movies that are predictable, but you got to make them fun. And this isn't. It's just kind of meanders. I mean, there's a whimsical nature about some of this, but it also feels too familiar to recommend. Nick basically got framed for a job, or framed for a crime he didn't commit. But that doesn't stop his other half, or his former other half, Brianna, from wanting to take their daughter to Birmingham. I don't know why she'd want to go to Alabama. Har har. But now the idea is they are going to basically hatch this plan. Nick hacks into the security camera feed and sees Sophia stealing some money from the lost and found area, so he uses that to blackmail her, but she can turn it around and blackmail him because she knows what he's done. And then they openly talk about their plans in public. And I mean, I guess it's London, so I guess there's nothing really new about that, and people just shout a lot, but I personally would pick quieter areas to discuss my plans, but I digress. Now the idea is she has to come up with some money to help out her mother because they came for the free health care, or at least the free-ish health care, the NHS, which that's a whole other can of worms I'm not going to get into. And it's good that they do that, but the thing is, the wait lists and other things and regulations, it could be a little much, and the mother may not have that much time. There's an idea to do a stem cell therapy treatment thing, but it's going to cost a lot, and they're going to have to go private. So they want to basically rip off Sterling. Maxwell Sterling, that is. And there's this toy called the Mushy Fox, or Mushy Fox, or whatever, that is popular among children. It's like the Jingle All the Way method, except they don't really lean into the silliness. And basically the first thing that I guessed, and I mean I think pretty much everybody did, is, you know, all these robberies that keep happening and everything, Maxwell always comes out better, and that's because it turns out he's actually staging all this stuff, which isn't really a surprise. Somebody knows this, and other people figure this out. The viewer figures it out well before all this stuff is revealed. And we have a security guard guy named Eddie that ends up getting blamed for what Sophia causes, and she basically has to find a way to get him his. She has to find a way to, like, you know, make things right. She also works 2 jobs because she's trying to help out her mother. They're trying to pay the medical bills back home in Philadelphia. And the sight gags and the, you know, little, like, you know, physical comedy bits just don't really work. They're not offensive. They're just familiar. And actually, that's the best way to describe this thing. It, you know, inoffensive but familiar. So, she poses as some Southern belle, you know, rich woman that ends up getting information about the safes so she can crack this stuff and everything, because Maxwell has a big old safe that is in his office that's hidden behind a bookcase. And the idea that she also has is for him to get with Cynthia Sterling, the wife, the estranged wife, shall we say, of Maxwell. They're both sleeping around with others, but they stay because of the marriage of convenience. I mean, granted, Lucy Punch wouldn't mind, definitely wouldn't mind. I mean, I don't know many that would turn her down. But Nick wants to do right by his daughter. He wants to take care of her, and we get exposition. Mother's been through a lot. Mother basically made sure that, you know, Sophia had everything she needed. That's why they moved back here, and then she wants to take care of her, to have her live long enough. It turns out that basically Nick ended up doing the, you know, installing the security tech, but he never robbed the place. Sterling blamed him for it. So, you know, Maxwell's just this terrible, terrible person. And then we get some jazzy versions of songs. Oh, Christmas tree, how lovely are those branches. As you just get right up in there. Right up in that stocking and everything. You're welcome. I'm going to ruin everything for Christmas. So, her dad, it turns out, was a dick and basically just, you know, pushed her away and said, "That's not my daughter." Gee, I wonder if we can guess who that is. It's Maxwell. Maxwell. That's her dad, by the way. Just in case I didn't make that clear enough. But I had noted, good Lord, Olivia Holt in that trip. My word. In this red dress. Holy shit. Okay. And then we, you know, have a party thing going on at this. Joy to the world, the Lord has come. Oh, boy, that's what they mean by ingesting the body of Christ, huh? You're welcome. I'm going to ruin everything. So, Maxwell also is kind of hitting on Sophia. That's kind of wrong. Maybe I've been saying Sophie this whole time. I actually haven't been paying attention because I don't really care about a lot of this stuff. But Sophia Wilde would have been a better choice for this. No offense to Olivia Holt. And basically, Nick gets Cynthia up to the up to the loft, And everything's going to go good until she reveals that she's aware of Nick and she knows who he is, but she knows he's not a bad guy. She's kneeling on him at one point making a call. Could she kneel on me like that? I don't have issues. Shut up. And she basically ends up hatching a plan with Sophia and Nick to take down Maxwell. So we see some Christmas Eve gifts being handed out among the families, and then they hatch this plan. We go right back to the beginning where basically Sophia says, you run, it's okay, we'll take care of this. But first, they got to get to the safe. And also the two guards, one that's named Ali, Fabulous Ali Ababa, are debating about Christmas movies. Not whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie, it is. Whether Batman Returns is a Christmas movie, it is. And there's this DNA thing, you gotta do a DNA sample for the safe. You gotta just splooge all over. No, you just have to put your finger in there, and it takes a little drop of blood. And she's able to get in the safe, because Maxwell's her dad. Big surprise. I mean, it's not, but big surprise. They try to make it like a big surprise. So, now they end up escaping, and she ends up getting caught, even though Ollie's like, I'm not going to bust you because something's going on here. And you say that something's going on here with our boss, so maybe there's something to this. Nick ends up escaping, and then basically we go back to where Cynthia is talking to them and says, oh, by the way, here's this key. Go to this, this storage locker place where all these stolen goods that he claimed, were stolen, he was going to resell them, get the insurance money, all that, commit massive amounts of insurance fraud, put them back in the safe, and then you'll see, or then the police will see that, and they'll bust him. And they do. And she flips him off, and then everything's worked out. The mother apparently got better in record time, even if I think this might actually be the new, or the Christmas a year later, to be perfectly honest. But we also see flashbacks of Sophia, being rejected by Maxwell and everything in a full-on dickish thing. The movie, again, is inoffensive. That's where we wrap this shit up. It's inoffensive, but it's also just so generic. It's hard to really get into it. There's no stakes. The story's very linear. It just exists. So I give it an F, but I don't give it super low marks. But still gets an F because it's below average for me. So I'm not saying don't watch it. I'm just saying temper your expectations. Nevertheless, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Whitland. Until we go to London to rob some people again, don't do that, kids. That's an international incident right there. And I'm not talking in your house. Happy trails to you.